So welcome to Dr. Echelon's laboratory roleplay on my anime list. My name is philtecturophy. So I will discuss first about the populations. So basically there are three populations in this game. So Ercilian and Azazel are human children that can use magic, and Timerus is basically like half human, half animal in here that primarily prioritize or rely on the physical strength and techniques. So Ercilian and Azazel, they will have the zodiac sign, for example Gemini, and Gemini will have the element of air. So for example, you should create later a spell that is having the element of air also, which to maximize the magic strength. That's just an example. So I would like to first discuss about the character creation. So if we see in here for Ercilian and Azazel, there are 20 points. So there is 20 points that can be distributed into hit points and astral energy. So astral energy is basically magic power. So these 10 points can also be distributed into intelligence and strength. So intelligence will determine your character's magic strength. In here, these values are assigned to be the same. So, and then this is evasion rate. The first number here is your physical evasion rate, and the second number here is the magic evasion rate of your character. So all these five are called base parameters. So basically these are the parameters that will be fixed throughout the roleplay. So these values cannot be changed anymore. When you create these values, at the first time when you create your characters, you have to make sure that you input the right proportion as you desire, because basically this is just like the proportions, right? The proportions. So this, for example, the player decides to have the same proportions of intelligence and strength. So this is just the proportions, not the actual parameters that we will discuss later, which is the battle statistics. So here, this is the alignment, basically your character's reputations. And here, the experience and level, these are the variables. These values will be changed based on number of enemies that you have damaged or defeated. So next is we can create a zodiac spell basically. So for example, the zodiac spell name can be anything. This is just monkeying around, and you can have the base effect of 2. For example, this base effect is basically will affect the magic strength. So your intelligence and your base effect will determine the magic strength. Also, your alignment of your magic element, the zodiac spell element with your zodiac character zodiac sign will also determine the magic strength. So you have to make sure that your character zodiac sign is aligned to the element of your magic. And you have to always remember to increase the base effect of every spell or techniques you have by 1 every time you level up. So for example, this spell has the base effect of 2 when your character is level 1. And when your character's level is increased into 2, this base effect will increase by 1. So this base effect is no longer 2, but it will be 3, and so on. You can gain new zodiac spells by increasing your character's level and alignment to certain values. So here I have discussed that alignment is basically variable that defines your reputations, right? And here the experience, for example, right now your experience is 400, so that's why your character is level 5. Imagine when your experience is 0, your character will be level 1, right? When the experience level 100, your character will be level 2, and so on. So to calculate basically the alignment of your character, would be basically if you damage the enemy or if you defeat the enemy, your alignment will increase or decrease, right? So you have to recompute your alignment. Basically, the formula is you input this base alignment plus parenthesis enemy level minus your level. Let's say your enemy level is 1 and your level is 2. These values will be negative. Then your alignment will be decreased, right? So this will be like -1. If this is your enemy level is 1, your character level is 2, this will be -1. And this base alignment 40, so 40 minus 1, this will be 39, right? So you have to make sure to always defeat the enemy that has that has higher level than yours. Your enemy should have higher level than yours to basically increase your alignment. And this formula is your alignment as a function of the enemy's alignment and your alignment. So basically, in here you can see that if your alignment is 40 and then your enemy alignment is 50, then this will be -10. Then the value will be like multiplied by 1 will be like -1. So your alignment will be reduced. So 40 minus 1, this will be like 39. So you have to make sure that always want to defeat the enemy with lower alignment. Your alignment should be higher than the enemy to increase your alignment, or basically your reputation. So this is to calculate your level. So basically, this is your current experience. The total experience can be calculated like this. So this is your right now your experience is 400, right? Your current experience. So just input this one 400 plus the maximum of either this or 1. So this we can compute, right? Your enemy's level. Let's say your enemy is currently in level 5 and you are also in level 5. So this will be 0. So the maximum of between 0 and 1 is 1. So this whole thing will be 1 multiplied by m. M is vary between the enemy, right? So let's say the enemy has the M of 50. So this will be 50. So the current experience will be 400 plus 50. So the total experience of your character will be 450. That's how you calculate it for the total experience. And this you know already that every 100 experience, every increase in 100, your level will increase by 1. So let's say here if your character is level 5 and your character's alignment is more than 20, you can create a spell basically that has the upper limit of the base attack of 8 basically. So this will determine the damage you cause into the enemy or the damage you inflict into the enemy, 8. So and the magic power that will be used or the astral energy that will be used to cast that magic will be equal to the base effect here. So if this is 8, the MP cost will be also 8. Maximum distance will be 20 meters. So this is the locations of your characters, your positions of your characters with respect to the enemy will be 20 meters for this spell. And you can assign optional buff or debuff into this spell with the buff or debuff grade. The grade should be less than 2 for this spell that you created for level 5 character. Basically, as far as I remember, for poisoning the enemy, you have to have the buff or debuff grade 4, which is your character's level supposed to be greater than 5, maybe like 15 or 20 for the buff or debuff grade 4. In that way, you can poison the enemy if your grade of the buff debuff is like your if your buff debuff grade is like 4 for here. And then here is, so this is your character statistics, right? This is the battle statistics. So the character statistics is the one that you input during the first time you join this game. This is when you create your character at the first time. Remember that these parameters these base parameters cannot be changed throughout the RT. But this parameters battle statistic is the one that you compute during the battle. So it's different, right? So you can compute basically for your base battle statistic, for your HP, you can compute it by using this formula basically. So your maximum hit points of your character during the battle will be ceiling. So ceiling will be rounding up the results of all this in the parentheses, right? So ceiling of 10, which is your base HP plus your base HP again, so it's 10 divided by coefficient 10 multiplied by your character's level, which is 5, divided by M. So M is 0.2 for population Ercilian and Azazel, and M is 0.15 for population Timerus. So since our character is Timerus, since our character is Ercilian and Azazel, so this will be 0.2. So the results is our maximum HP is 35. So actually the formula for calculating astral energy or your magic power is the same. The formula is the same. That's why if you see the results is the same. This one is 35. Previously we saw that maximum HP is also 35. Because we in the character statistic we distributed the 20 points here the same 10 10. So that's why since the formula is the same here for HP and for AE, so that's why the results is the same. So for calculating your intelligence, your battle intelligence in the battle statistic here is using this formula. You can use this formula. So basically ceiling parenthesis base intelligence, you input this one 5 plus base intelligence 5, you input 5 divided by coefficient 5 multiplied by your character's level, which is currently at level 5, divided by M, where M is 2 for Ercilian and Azazel. So it's divided by 2, the result is 8. This is your intelligence, which determines the magic strength of your character. So just now we see that we have the intelligence of 8, right? When our character is level 5. But now we have the strength here is not 8 but 6, which is less than 8. So it's expectable, right? Because because the Ercilian and Azazel, the strength should be weaker than the intelligence, than compared to their intelligence. So we input this one in the character statistic, they are the same number, intelligence and strength, but in the battle parameter, in the battle statistics, the intelligence just now is 8, but the strength is less than 8, which is 6. So naturally, Ercilian and Azazel will have higher intelligence than the strength. That's the naturally like that. So if we just input these values, so the base strength plus base strength, so this is 5 plus 5 divided by 10 multiplied by level, so the level here is 5 divided by M. M is 5. Previously in the intelligence, this one, the M is 2 if you remember. So that's why it results in the higher in the intelligence. This one we divided by a higher number, so larger number, so that's why the result is lower in here, which is 6 for the strength of your character. Then we can compute the evasion rate. This is the first number, is the physical evasion rate. The formula is almost the same, so you can input 5 in the base physical evasions, and then 5 here plus 5 base physical evasions divided by 5 multiplied by your character's level, which is 5, divided by M. M is 4 for Ercilian and Azazel, so we input this one 4, the result is 7. This is your character's physical evasion rate. So this character's physical evasion rate will be combined with the accessory modifier, basically accessory that can modify your evasion rates, And if we compute that using some formula, we can get your probability of your character to avoid some magic attack, for example. And in the next slides is also the same. This is to calculate your magic evasion rate. The formula is almost the same. This is the M is 2 here, so the results is 8 here. So the formula is almost the same as we have seen just now, as we saw just now. So we have all the battle statistics computed just now, right? We have the hit points computed from the character statistic, we get the battle statistic, everything in here. So this is like the conclusion of everything that we have computed so far. So we can use this one to calculate the most important parameters in this RP, which is total action effect. So this total action effect is the parameter that will determine how much you damage your enemy or how much you heal your friends. This is the parameter total action effect. Total action effect. So the formula here is basically ceiling of the base effect. This is your base effect of your zodiac spell, which is in here 6. So 6 multiplied by M. M in here is this one. So M will be equals to intelligence divided by this whole thing, which is there's a constant 0.62 multiplied by, sorry, this is the coefficient multiplied by your character's level, which is level 5 currently, plus some constant 1.38. So this intelligence, your character intelligence is 8. So 8 will be divided by this whole thing. And then continue here, multiply by astral modifier. So this astral modifier here will be 1.25 if your character's the element of this magic spell is aligned with the zodiac sign element of your characters. If they are aligned, then this will be 1.25. And if they are not aligned, this will be just 1. So you want to always align those to maximize the magic strength or the damage you cause, you inflict into the enemy. So this is will be multiplied again by 1. This one, if your character is in the etheric form, this will be 1.25. But if your character is in human form, this will be weaker. So this is just multiplied by 1 if you are in the human form. So the results of this total action effect without accessory is 14. If you equip an accessory in your to your characters, basically this 14 will plus something, basically, which this one will be 14. And I think I make a typo in here. This is supposed to be 0. If you see, this is 14 plus 0. This is supposed to be 0 in here. So 14 plus accessory modifier 0 will be 0, because this assumes that your character does not equip any accessory. So that's why this is 0. 0 divided by 100 multiplied by 14 total action effect will be just 0, because this is 0. This assumes your character does not equip any accessory. So this is a typo. This is supposed to be 0, this 8. So basically, this is like the conclusion of everything that we have discussed. So basically, you can have calculate all the battle statistic just now, and then you calculate the total action effect just now in here. So you can write like the description in here to calculate the total action effect. You can write in your RP template during the battle. You can write like, oh, you have cast this magic spell. You are basically at level 1. Your base effect is 2, but since now you are in level 5, your base effect is increased, not 2 anymore, but now in 6. This is because your character right now is level 5. Because when your character is level 1, the base effect of your magic spell is 2. When your character is level 5, base effect is 6. And then this is your zodiac sign, Gemini, and your magic element is air. So since this is aligned, that's why your astral modifier is 1.25 instead of 1. And since your character currently is in the human form, non-etheric form, that's why the astral modifier, so that's why the etheric modifier is 1 instead of 1.25. So you compute all that, the total action effect, and you will get the values of 14. This is typo. See, just now that we have discussed, this is supposed to be 0. Your character does not equip any accessory, so it is supposed to be 0. So total action effect plus 0 is this one is 14. And this is additional calculations that you have to do basically to calculate the probability of your enemy to evade your attack. So this is, you are using your enemy's character statistics to compute your enemy's battle statistics, which particularly related to evasions, physical evasions and magic evasions. You have to use the same formula, and then you get here 6 for physical evasions and magic evasions 9. So here you can calculate, it is assumed that your enemy does not equip with accessory and does not equip with shield, so only account for this character evasion rate for magic, which is 9 in here, and all these things divided by 300 multiplied by 100%, so 3%. So your enemy will have 3% chance to evade your magic attack. Finally, you have to make a conclusion of what you are doing during the battle. So basically, if your character does not do anything, you just have to write these two values, which is the current HP and current astral energy. But if your character is doing something, for example, if your character is attacking somebody, then you have to compute total action effect, and you have to include this in the conclusion, which is 14. Your character is using magic spell with the total action effect of 14. Target is goblin, the enemy, and the goblin, the enemy, has a 3% chance to evade magic attack. So that's it. So basically, that's all that I have to. That's all that the I have to discuss about the that I just discussed about the Echelon and Azazel. I will discuss about Timerus in the later video. So thank you for listening and watching. This is philtecturophy. See you next time.